Now, when Peloton first announced that they were going to be releasing a connected rowing machine, I have to admit I was very dubious about what it would be like. I figured it would be form over function. It would look fantastic, but actually it would be flawed to use. Now, a few days ago, Peloton released a video with a guy taking you through some rowing technique. He had 3 things to talk about, 3 things that a lot of rowers get wrong, and the video, in terms of what he takes you through, is fantastic.
A lot of what people do, and I'm guilty of this as well, is you come up and then you're like, oh, I can get more. Then you go through. Number 2, opening early off the front. Last one, by lifting your knees early, you're one of 2 things. You're either gonna hit your knees, maybe get some knuckle cuts, not a great time, or you're gonna come up and over.
However, what it revealed is that as far as the rowing machine was concerned, I was right. It looks fantastic, but it's just designed in a very strange way. Now, what it comes down to is the monitor. Now, all of these connected rowing machines have a big monitor right full in front of the rower. So if we take a look at the Peloton Rower, what's happening is that in order for the guy who's demonstrating technique to get his arms in the right position, he has to go underneath the monitor and then past it, like almost up to his wrists, which is fine for how he's doing it, but I think that for most new rowers who come onto the machine, they're going to be terrified of punching that big monitor that's in front of them. After all, the Peloton Rower is going to be a really expensive piece of machinery, and you don't want to end up punching the monitor. So this is going to lead to really the 2 of the 3 things that this guy talks about people doing. So what it's going to do is it's either going to cause people to lunge underneath the monitor in order to get their hands underneath and make sure they get clearance, or it's going to lead to them undercompressing and then opening their back way too soon rather than being able to get into that forward lean. Now, I've done a test on my Concept 2 in a rather makeshift scenario. Now, I don't claim to have the best rowing stroke in the world, but hopefully I can get this across to you. The 2 most important things that we're talking about here is having your arms straight as you come into the front, into the catch, and having a tilt forwards over your hips as you come forwards, right? This is so important, and actually this is what all the fuss about the back of the stroke is around, about the kind of the knees coming up first and throwing the handle over or whatever. To be honest, this doesn't matter. What you do at the back makes no difference to what kind of power you're putting into the front of the machine. What it affects is how you address the front of the machine. If you're coming forwards like this, it's really hard to get from this position into this position in time for your next stroke. So this is why you think about it on the recovery, okay? But it maintains, you want to be in a good, powerful posture, okay? With your arms straight in front of you and a tilt forwards over your hips. So what they're talking about in the video about over lunging into the bottom or having an early break of your back, spot on. However, you can see that this is very easy for me to do on a Concept 2. Okay, so I've got my hands at a nice neutral height, straight in front of me, and I'm tilting forwards to the front of the machine. Now, I'm not going to stick a television screen in front of me, I'm not that daft, so it's my whiteboard with my last rowing session on it. So this is what I've got set up to emulate the Peloton's rowing screen. Now, I think I've got it at the right, I've kind of matched frames to the image that we've been looking at, and I think I've got it at the right distance, and I actually think I've been quite generous about the height. I think it's probably lower if you're on the Peloton one, which actually incidentally, the Peloton Rower screen does not go up and down. It tilts, but it doesn't go up and down. So remember the points of the stroke are you want to have your arms straight and you want to have a forwards tilt in order to engage your back. And you also want to make sure that you're sliding in until your shins are pointing vertical, okay? That gives you the optimum point for your rowing stroke. So I could get this done with my Peloton screen in front of me. And you can see, just like Alex in the video, if that's his name, I'm able to row exactly how I was before. So what's he on about then? What am I moaning about? Well, if you look at how close my hands are coming underneath my pretend screen, I think that if I had a 3,000 pound rowing machine with a big monitor in front of me, I'd end up choking my stroke. And if I was new to rowing anyway, and had the chance of having kind of a little bit of dodginess to my technique, I'd probably be like this, okay? Because I don't want to hit the screen with my hands. And also, I've got the class right in front of me, and coming in that close is like, woo! So I choke my stroke, I undercompress, I'm not leaning forwards anymore, got my back vertical, and I'm kind of just limping through a workout. And let's face it, this is what I'm on about. If you're spending £3,500 or dollars or whatever on a Peloton, plus your subscription on top of that, I want to make sure that I get the best workout possible. I want to feel every single one of them. I want to see the calories on the floor in front of me once I've done the workout. And if you're rowing like this, okay, undercompressing, not using your back, not able to put in the big push because you can't quite get into that leg position, you're getting nowhere near that workout. Remember, you've probably read somewhere that rowing is fantastic because it uses 85% of your muscles. Yes, it does, as long as you do it right. If you lean, if you have that forwards tilt and you push with the legs, remember, think pushing the machine away from you, hold that forwards tilt, arms straight, push. Then your legs really get a power here. Your trunk, your back, your core get great workout as you swing from that forwards to backwards, and then you get your arms and shoulders and all that stuff, lats and stuff at the back of the stroke. That's where you get your 85% from. If you roll like this, then you're limping with your legs, your back and your trunk and your core get very little work, and your arms, meh. Okay? So frankly, you're wasting your money. And that's what I mean. This is what I mean about it's designed in a way that is just going to waste people's money, that they think that by having this, it's going to help them. And if you're not rowing properly on it, and like I said, you can, okay? So you can row properly, or at least I hope you can. Lean forward, arms straight. I can on my little setup here, but my worry, and this is just a worry because I've not used it yet, my worry is that people are going to be too scared of the monitor, of punching it as they come forwards. Because let's go into sprint, right? Okay, so I'm just grazing underneath it. I don't have time to think about, am I going to come forwards and then punch the monitor, okay? So listen, what I'm saying is that it is possible, right? Even on my little setup here, which like I say, I'm probably generous with height, all that stuff. It is possible to row properly on the Peloton if it's kind of like this. You can see from the video that they've released, that guy's got a nice technique, he's rowing properly, but his hands are coming right underneath the monitor and very close to the monitor, just like I was doing there. But it is possible. My concern is that new rowers who don't have a good technique are gonna think that, oh, hang on, I'm scared of the monitor, or they're gonna, in order to clear it, remember one of the things they're saying, I've moved my monitor now, but one of the things he's saying is don't lunge, okay? So you wanna come into the front with a good posture for a drive, and what he says is don't lunge underneath. And the problem is you've got this monitor that's right in front of you, and you're thinking, I need to get underneath this, at which point you collapse your posture to get underneath it. So that's my issue with the design, okay? Is that yes, if you have a good technique already, and if you're confident and all that kind of stuff, then you may be okay with it. But if you do have a little bit of a dodgy technique, and if you're not fixing that knee throw, and you are coming up early and you're throwing the handle over it, I just think that it's just a recipe for a cracked screen, or for not a good workout, or even, must be said, by having that kind of choked stroke, you can cause injuries, okay? You can really collapse your posture, and then you can cause an injury because you're putting all the force into your lower back. But that is my problem with the Peloton Rower in quite a long nutshell. Now, what I would say is that if anybody is out there thinking of designing a connected rower, take a look at Concept 2's dynamic rower. And the rower themselves stay in pretty much the same place. So you could design this machine with the monitor still in front of them, but because you're not rolling backwards and forwards, thundering towards that expensive monitor with a big handle in your hands outstretched towards it, the chances of their technique being a bit more on point is going to be a lot higher, okay? It's going to be a much better system to use. So if you're looking to design a connected rower, please look at the Concept 2 Dynamic, okay? Now, as to the Peloton classes themselves, I've not actually had a chance to have a look at one of them yet, so I will take a look. I think I can still access them on my phone as a free workout trial thing, so I'll take a look and see what they're like. I'm going to assume that they're going to be along the same lines as the Fit workouts, where it's just going to be someone throwing platitudes at you and telling you to row harder.
Let's row, baby. Let's get it, Peloton.
However, if the video that they released is anything to go by, at least the technique side of things is going to be a lot better than the Fit app. Now, the machine itself I haven't had a chance to use, but what I'm hoping is that because Glasgow has a Peloton store, that I'm going to get a chance to kind of get in and sit down and have a go on one, and then I will report back, because I'm not entirely sure about how this is going to work as a rowing machine. Looking at the handle and the strap, is it, that connects to it, and the sound and all that kind of stuff, I'm kind of quite interested to see how it's going to feel. But fundamentally, I think having that huge big monitor so close to the rower is a massive design flaw, and it's going to promote technique errors rather than it's going to do anything to help them, as much as the video that Peloton have released may attest otherwise. Now, do remember, I've got hundreds of free RowAlong workouts on this channel if you're looking for some kind of connection on your rowing machine. All you have to do is load up the YouTube app and then search my channel for the hundreds of workouts that are on there, entirely free. And it doesn't even matter what rowing machine you use. You could be on a Concept 2, you can be on a water rower, you can be on a magnetic rower that costs you thousands, you can be on a magnetic rower that costs you tens of pounds. It really doesn't matter. I just set the intensity, the stroke rate, and I'll talk you through the workout. Now, must be said, I'm less bombastic than a lot of the trainers out there, so I will just keep you company. I'll talk to you about technique, motivation a little bit. I'll talk to you about my dinner plans, about my love of little dead mouse and stuff. So I'll hopefully keep you going through a workout that you might otherwise not have got through, and you'll get out the other end and you go, hey, that was a good workout, and actually you feel a bit more empowered because you don't have someone just yelling nonsense at you through it, okay? And if you're interested more about rowing technique, I also have lots and lots and lots of videos on there talking about that too. So hopefully there will be something on my channel to keep you interested, whether you're on the rowing machine or on your lunch break. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, take care, be well, bye-bye.